Imagine a world where survival was the only goal. No cities, no machines, no written words, just scattered groups of humans roaming vast plains, dense forests, and icy landscapes, guided only by instinct, experience, and the tools they shaped from stone. This was the Old Stone Age, the Paleolithic Era, a time that stretched for hundreds of thousands of years, long before farming, kingdoms, or technology dotted this world. Life was harsh and uncertain. Every day carried the same question: how do we survive? Food had to be hunted or gathered, warmth depended on fire, and safety meant staying alert to predators that lurked in the shadows. Yet, in this fragile existence, humanity slowly built the foundations of everything we know today. The Old Stone Age was not just an age of struggle. It was an age of discovery. People learned to hunt in groups, to use fire as both a weapon and a shelter, and to share stories around flames that lit the night. They painted on cave walls, carved bones into tools, and built bonds that turned families into tribes. This is the story of those earliest humans, their battles, their triumphs, and their incredible ability to adapt, from the sparks of fire to the sharpened edge of stone. These were the first steps of our species' journey. The Old Stone Age, or Paleolithic period, is the earliest and longest stage of human history. It began around 2.5 million years ago and lasted until about 10,000 BCE. For most of this vast stretch of time, humans were hunters and gatherers. They did not farm crops or raise animals. Instead, they moved constantly, following the migration of herds and the seasonal growth of plants. The people of this age were not yet builders of permanent homes. They sought shelter in caves, beneath rocky overhangs, or in simple huts made of wood, bones, and animal hides. Their world was shaped by climate shifts, from warm interglacial periods to the freezing grip of the Ice Age. These environments demanded creativity, endurance, and teamwork. At the heart of their survival were stone tools, chipped flints, sharp hand axes, and pointed spears gave humans the ability to hunt large animals like mammoths, bison, and reindeer. These tools were more than weapons. They were symbols of intelligence. By shaping stone with precision, humans showed that they were not just another animal, but something more. Fire was another turning point. At first, humans may have captured flames from natural sources like lightning strikes, but eventually they learned to make fire themselves. This changed everything. Fire provided warmth in freezing climates, light in the darkness, and safety from predators. It also allowed humans to cook food, which made it easier to digest and expanded their diet. The Paleolithic world was not only about survival, it was also about culture. The earliest forms of art emerged here: cave paintings, in places like Lascaux in France and Altamira in Spain, dating back over 17,000 years. These images of animals and hunting scenes suggest that early humans thought symbolically and shared ideas through art. Language, though not preserved, likely developed during this time. The coordination required for group hunts and the passing down of survival skills demanded communication. Families grew into bands, and bands into tribes. Bound together by shared struggle and shared knowledge, the Old Stone Age was long and slow, but it was never static. Over generations, humans spread from Africa into Asia, Europe, and beyond, adapting to new lands and climates. Each step carried the seeds of progress. This was the foundation upon which all later civilizations would rise. At the center of life in the Old Stone Age stood three forces: hunting, fire, and survival. These were not just activities, they were lifelines. Hunting was dangerous, unpredictable, and essential. Early humans relied on animals for food, clothing, and tools. But without advanced weapons, hunting required strategy. Men and women worked together, tracking herds across open plains or driving animals into traps. A single mammoth kill could feed a tribe for weeks, providing not just meat, but hides for warmth and bones for tools. Stone-tipped spears and hand axes were the hunter's best allies. These tools improved over time. By 300,000 years ago, humans had learned to attach stone points to wooden shafts, creating true spears. Later, they developed the atlatl, a spear thrower that extended the arm and allowed for greater force. And distance hunting was not just physical, but social. It demanded cooperation. A group had to move as one, anticipating the animal's movements, signaling silently and striking at the right moment. This coordination forged bonds of trust and dependence. Hunting was survival, but it was also community. If hunting fed the body, fire fed both body and mind. Fire was protection against the cold, a shield against wild animals, and a gathering place where stories could be shared. Around fires, humans began to shape not only tools but ideas. Cooking with fire unlocked new possibilities. Meat, once tough and hard to chew, became tender and safe to eat. This boosted nutrition and brain development. Fire also made plants like roots and tubers edible, expanding diets in lean times. The mastery of fire was gradual. Early humans likely preserved embers and carried them from place to place before learning how to create fire from scratch. But once mastered, fire became the heartbeat of Paleolithic life. It lit caves with a glow that pushed back the endless dark. Old Stone Age meant constant movement. Humans were nomadic, shifting from one place to another in search of food. Women gathered berries, nuts, roots, and seeds, which were as vital as hunted meat. This balanced diet sustained life and gave tribes flexibility. Clothing and shelter were also key to survival. Animal hides were stitched into garments with bone needles, protecting people from freezing winds. Simple shelters of wood, bones, and skins shielded families from storms. In colder regions, caves offered natural protection, their walls sometimes decorated with art that carried spiritual meaning. Survival also meant facing predators. Lions, saber-toothed cats, and wolves stalked the same landscapes. Humans, smaller and slower, had only their tools, fire, and teamwork. But over time, cooperation and intelligence allowed humans to outlast these mighty beasts. Survival was physical, but it was also mental and spiritual. Cave paintings and carvings suggest that humans saw meaning in the world. Around them, animals were drawn with vivid detail, perhaps as part of hunting rituals or as symbols of respect for nature's power. Burials from the Old Stone Age show that people cared for the dead. Bodies were sometimes placed with tools or ornaments, suggesting belief in life beyond death. These early rituals reveal the beginnings of human spirituality, the sense that existence was more than survival alone. In this way, hunting, fire, and survival were not only practical, but also the roots of culture. They shaped how people lived, thought, and imagined. The legacy of the Old Stone Age is enormous, though the tools were simple and the lives harsh. This period laid the groundwork for humanity's future. Stone tools marked the beginning of technology. Each chipped blade was a step toward the inventions that would later transform the world. Fire was the first great energy source, a power humans learned to control and harness. It was the spark that ignited progress. Social structures that formed around hunting and survival gave rise to cooperation, leadership, and shared knowledge. These traits would become the foundation of human societies. Without the teamwork of Paleolithic hunters and gatherers, larger communities could never have formed. Art and rituals from this period reveal the first signs of imagination and belief. The ability to think symbolically, to paint, to carve, to dream separated humans from other animals. It gave us identity, memory, and vision for the future. Perhaps the greatest significance of the Old Stone Age lies in resilience. For millions of years, humans endured shifting climates, scarce resources, and constant threats. Yet, through adaptation and ingenuity, they survived. That spirit of resilience remains at the core of humanity today. The Old Stone Age ended with the development of agriculture around 10,000 BCE. Farming changed everything, leading to settled villages, food surplus, and eventually civilizations. But those achievements were built upon the survival skills, the tools, and the discoveries of the Paleolithic world. Without hunting, fire, and survival, there would be no history at all. The Old Stone Age may feel distant, buried in caves and fossils, but its echoes are still with us. Every time we light a fire, share a meal, or tell a story in the dark, we repeat the same patterns that sustained our ancestors. They were not kings or scientists, not builders of empires. They were people who struggled, adapted, and dreamed. Their world was raw, yet it held the beginnings of everything: family, culture, technology, and hope. The sharpened stone, the glowing ember, the painted wall, these were the sparks that lit the path of humanity.